Hey everybody, alright, so it's our Thursday Night Live. I'm starting off a little bit early. I'm very excited that I have things kind of working properly this time around. Minimize a couple things here. I'm going to try a few different things with what we're doing today. Alright, cool. So we have a chat box right here. I'm not sure how you chat into that. From everything I look at, if you're on like YouTube watching this, or if you're on Twitter, on Periscope, watching it or anything like that, it will, if you comment, it'll pop up here, supposedly. But we'll see if anybody's got anything to say. People generally like reply to this live while it's going on, so we'll see. We'll see if there's any chats that come up other than my little test shot there. So this week, what do we do this week? I've got my new Generation Kill one that's out. I've got what else do we have? Just our regular episode. Man, you can tell I'm really not fucking prepared for this today. I was just really excited about finally getting this to work. I moved over to a different computer to get this one up and running. So on the podcast this week, we talked about the fucked up British soldiers that were shooting pictures of Jeremy Corbyn, and like how we can really see that that's kind of a thing that's happening now. Obviously, like the right and the conservative parties have like twisted things into a point where like nobody's like outright saying go kill like leftists and socialists and Democrats or whatnot, and they like never will outright say it, so that like when those things actually happen, they be like, we never said go do that, we didn't, we would never say that. But you've got fucking one-eyed Willie Dan Crenshaw out here saying that, misrepresenting Ilhan Omar, who has literally had death threats against her. And then when AOC calls him out, it's like, I never did anything like that. Like, this is such a, like, and like they know what they're doing, and it's such a like out of some fucked up conservative playbook to do these things. So it's happening with the Brits as well, as we can with this video of them shooting a picture of Jeremy Corbyn. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, this is how they see you on the left. And when I say you on the left, I mean just like a fucking left-leaning Democrat even. You are something to be seen as a threat, and the only way that these people deal with threats is through violence. On the left, we see a lot of threats, and what do? We organize. We try to do things to bring people over to our side. We hold hands and make for a better world, which is hard and difficult, and they would rather just shoot you dead and then say, I don't know what you're talking about. I never said anything like that. So that's been fucking fun to watch. Now we've also on the podcast, and maybe next week, the podcast that's coming next week. I'm not going to be on that because I have to play Soldier this weekend. So Nate's going to be taking care of that. But we also talk about like how there's obviously like the state of emergency for the wall that's still happening. Just in case we haven't seen that. Basically they're pulling funds away from the military and military projects to push them elsewhere. And yes, that New York Post cover as well for Ilhan Omar. The New York Post, which is owned by Rupert Murdoch, who owns Fox. I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious calls to arms without having to say it's a call to arms. It's all those things that just like, we're not going to tell you to go kill these people, but these people are certainly here destroying your way of life, and they're going to make things difficult for you, and things are never going to be the same, and wouldn't it be better if they just all died? I'm not telling you to go kill them, but wouldn't it just be better if they all died? That's really what you're kind of running up against here. So, let's see. As we were talking about, there we go. As we were also talking about there's now like May 10th, I believe, is the deadline to have like what things are we gonna not fund, like for $3 billion. What things are we gonna not fund in the military, so that we can build this stupid fucking wall? Now it seems like the caveats are anything that is, that's been awarded in 2019 cannot be taken away. Anything that is for improvement of troop areas can't be taken away. Which, so, it is a drop in the bucket of our 7-something billion, but I mean, it's still a percentage. And here's the thing, that it's not going to be the F-35 project that's going to get cut. That it's not going to be like something, some other ridiculous thing. It's going to be something that's like actually useful. I know that a lot of people like to think that the military doesn't do anything useful. Sometimes we do. Army Corps of Engineers, the National Guard units, that take care of like local state stuff. Those things, exist. Maybe, you disagree with me whether or not they're good or not, that's fine. But like just taking money away from these things to build a wall, I think we can all agree, is really fucking stupid. Especially since like literally nothing has ever shown that this wall is going to do a goddamn thing. Hell, the last wall that they put up, they left. The troops went down there and then they left, and then all the concertina wire got stolen. It seems that we're doing this weird thing where, like, I mean, we've always been kind of enemies with Mexico. It seems like we're trying to make enemies with Canada in some weird ways, because we're hand-holding China and Russia, who, like, I've always known them as not great countries that you want to be BFFs with. But if you are a fucked up imperialist country like America is, who's already, hand across the ocean to Israel and Saudi Arabia, go back to that New York Post cover, some people who did something, it was Saudis who did it, and then we gave them millions and millions of dollars in weapons to, genocide the Yemenis. So that's, that's not a New York Post cover that you'll see. So it seems like we have just kind of fallen lockstep into our, like, why hide it anymore? Let's just, be outwardly kind of fashy. Because we've always been inwardly kind of fashy. It's just like we're really just saying the things that we've been doing quietly, now we're just saying that we're doing it. And fucking God help us. We'll see. So that's fun. Always fun things to talk about on the podcast, about how people are trying to kill us on any regular basis. Let's see. So we'll also go through. So I have up some news stories. I just basically went to npr.org because I always keep wanting to talk about the news. It's kind of an afterthought, and then I never do it. So it's like, well, let's see what's going on here. Julian Assange arrested. That is certainly a news story that happened. That's all we're going to say about it. I'm not getting into it. Either way, nobody's going to be happy. New Hampshire poised to eliminate the death penalty. Very nice. Meanwhile, Texas is trying to put in a bill that will give women who get abortions the death penalty. Now, that is very much in line with like whenever you see one of these like ridiculous bills and everybody's just like, this Texas is trying to do this thing. Missouri tries to do it every once in a while too. Every once in a while, there's some fucking dipshit yokel ass rep who is down in southern Missouri, down friggin' Mountain Grove or Kabul or fucking Texas County down there in southern Missouri and the fucking Ozarks and shit, where the racism runs, as cool and clear as a mountain stream. We'll try to put in some bullshit like this. It never goes anywhere, but like, that is the caliber of the people that you get, attempting to do these things. So, Texas just being Texas, really. But good for New Hampshire, getting rid of the death penalty. We know it doesn't do anything. That is a step kind of in the right direction of moving towards getting rid of our, I guess, our, the shitty, penal colony. I was trying not to say penal, but the shitty way that we do penitentiary in America. I'm not necessarily an abolish all prisons kind of person, but certainly abolish most of them. In fact, St. Louis is kind of really pushing towards getting rid of a place called the workhouse, which is like where they put people who like can't bail out So like the people in the workhouse, it's always great whenever workhouse stuff comes up and people are like, well, they shouldn't have done it they shouldn't have broken the law. It's like, no, most of the people in the workhouse have not been convicted of a crime. They're just people who can't afford bail, which is really shitty. And it's a really terrible place to be. People end up there. I've known people like who end up there and just disappear for like 6 months, and then they get out because either they plea out or they, one guy actually, he was in there for murder, and then somebody came in and admitted to the murder instead. A guy lost 6 months of his life in the workhouse. Never had any charges actually brought up against him, and of course lost his apartment, lost his job, all that great and wonderful stuff. So thumbs up to New Hampshire, and really thumbs up to the people in St. Louis who are really working hard to get rid of that workhouse and get rid of the recurring poorness that they try to fucking do in this country, really, but in the city, where they just fine you until they can put you into jail, and then fine you while you're in jail. Because it makes sense, why not? McConnell's 2020 plan casts GOP as a firewall against socialism. I don't think anybody knows what socialism means. American socialism is certainly not what actual socialism is, which is fine. I know there's the arguments of like, the capitalist socialism, democratic socialism, things like that. That's fine. I think most people in America are saying socialism because they're just like, look, we should have universal health care and housing shouldn't be ridiculously expensive. There should be some sort of, which is not really like socialism, but it is American socialism, and so people just start saying, sure, I'm a socialist. Now again, I'm not trying to gatekeep. I'm absolutely not a socialist gatekeeper in any way, shape, or form, because I'm really a shitty socialist myself, I'm sure. But I say this because Mitch McConnell trying to say he's a firewall against socialism. What that basically means is he wants to make sure that people, still have to pay an arm and a leg to get, cancer treatments or whatever. And we know that Medicare for All is a incredibly popular thing that a lot of people want to do. The majority of Americans want to do. Even people on the right, man, people are tired of, even if you have good insurance, getting completely fucked over. I have good insurance. It still costs $1,200 out of pocket for the birth of my kid. That's fucked up. Other countries, it doesn't cost you a goddamn thing. They have better birth rates than we do. Doesn't make sense to me. But of course, Mitch McConnell's fucking Yertle the turtle ass motherfucker will try to cast a firewall against this. I don't even know what that means, considering maybe he probably thinks he is a literal wall of fire, rather than it be, speak for a router. But I don't know. Maybe Mitch finally, read something. Let's see. What else do we have? Chickenpox breaking out in Rohingya. That's right. Strong social safety net is not socialism, but a strong social safety net is also a really great thing to strive for. I don't think socialism would work, like actual Marxist, Leninist socialism, Maoism, whatever you want to call it, will work in America, in the way that America is, in the way that it's structured now. But having a very strong social welfare and a huge safety net for the most vulnerable is absolutely necessary, and there's no reason we can't do it, other than rich assholes want to stay rich, and for some reason they're all in power. Money's a motherfucker. Alright. Sudan is having just had a coup. The military took control and arrested President Omar al-Bashir. I don't know if that's good or bad, but always interesting to see a coup happen. I think Sudan just recently had one, didn't they? I think we talked about that at some point in time. Okay, one more. What else do we have? A lot of stuff that's really not that important. Oh, here we go. The transgender ban is, yes, the Trump's administration's transgender ban is affecting this one military family, but how it affects all military families, how everything that this motherfucker is doing. Like, I mean, as we also talked about on our podcast, we have completely, there are military bases that are like literally underwater right now in Florida, Tyndall Air Base, since last year. An Air Force base that is, I would assume necessary for doing things like, protection, flying airplanes out of jets and whatnot. I mean, it's Florida, it's near the ocean, and it's hurricane. I want to say, obviously it's not hurricane proof, but it's hurricane resistant until last year. It's going to cost like $3 billion to fix that. We're spending $3 billion on the wall. And now, we've got this, completely underwater base that there's kind of a shoulder shrug to be like, we don't really need to do anything about it, right? It has become fairly incredible to me that all the cracks that we saw over all the cracks that many people saw and told us about, and a lot of other people, I'm not putting myself in the told you so because I certainly was not there, but all the, I'm seeing these things now. All those cracks are getting really big. Our infrastructure is falling apart, like, in bits and pieces all over the place. And, like, it's always kind of been like that. Like, our military bases have always been shit. They kind of look nice, but, like, it's slapdash paint and some particle board is what you're working with on a lot of it. The equipment that we had overseas, I was in Iraq in 2009. I still had old shit. Like, this war's been going on for like nearly a decade at this point. How do you not got new shit out here for us? I don't know. I mean, sure, we're reservists, but goddamn, like, get us a Humvee that works, maybe. So we're falling apart at the seams, as a country for all of this, and I'm going to tell you, there's really not a thing that's going to happen to save it. I'm sorry to tell you, like, there's not we vote for Bernie Sanders and then everything's hunky-dory, because he's going to have, even if he does get elected, he's going to have a fucking uphill struggle no matter what he's doing. This isn't if we all plant victory gardens, everything's going to be okay. We're losing power as a country, which is probably for the best. The sun is setting on the American century, as they say, probably rising on the Chinese one, who are like actively running concentration camps for their, for Muslims in China. I mean, what you gonna do about that? That's they just elected their president or premier for life. That's China's just doing its own whole imperialism thing. And people call them communists. They're not. They're just like, this is another fucking rich ass oligarch kind of country again. But so I don't know. I don't know where you go from there. But what I do know is recently I saw my local DSA having get-togethers, and I know no matter which, there's a lot of people that fucking scorn the DSA or the PSL or these other like left-leaning organizations. Man, they get together and they do stuff, and they're trying. They're doing a lot more than posting online, which is what a lot of us do, and they're trying to do something local and national and globally. So always good to see that. That is always the hope that I have. It's always a little like little my heart growing 3 times bigger is just seeing people out and doing things. So there is a way that we see out of this. But it is going to be hard, and it is going to require all of us doing the best we can, because we will be pushed against every inch of the fucking way. And the important thing is that we push right the fuck back the entire time. So thank you. As always, please subscribe to the podcast if you are not. We are going to be doing our. I haven't gotten any of the stuff that I've ordered for the care packages yet, but we do have people who are working on stories for the first zine or artwork. If you want to contribute to that, please get to me. I want people outside. I want it to just be my ass, doing these things. I want everybody to be a part of this. So please, throw in on that. Find me on Twitter at ArmyStrang, or you can email me at sergeantjoker at hellofawaitodie.com. If you've already contacted me and I haven't contacted you back, please send me another message, because I didn't fucking categorize anything or write anything down. I'm going through old DMs and old emails and stuff. So, but if you're just why didn't that motherfucker ever get back to me? It's because I have a brain made of Swiss cheese, because I'm 36. I've been in the Army for fucking 19 years and probably rubbed depleted uranium all over my skull at some point in time. So things aren't always up there. So please get with me with that. That's going to be going out in June, but if you sign up for $10 now, and it's going to be going out. But if you're already a $5 subscriber, you're going to get a digital copy of it. But if you're $10, you're going to get a physical copy. You're going to get actually, we might send out 2. I'm thinking of doing. I'm gonna have to see what the pricing is, but send out 2, one for you and one for a buddy, and then some other things in the care package as well. So that's at patreon.com/hellofawaitodie. Other than that, thank you so much for joining us. This one went a little bit longer than I was expecting, but I'm glad that everything's working. I'm glad the chat, everything's reversed for me from what I see there and from what I hear. So I'm glad the chat was here. I'm gonna have to watch it more. Yes, the packs are Americana. Also, if you are a member of the Patreon already, or if you're a member of the Lions Led by Donkeys Patreon, you should be in our Discord. If you're not, if for whatever reason you can't get in, you need an invitation, just shoot me a DM or shoot Joe Kasabian a DM and say, hey, I'm supposed to be in there. I'm Patreon. We'll bring you on in. We got it. It's very lively. But not so lively that you're just I can't keep up with anything. It's that perfect mix. So bring it in, and so let's fuck it up by bringing more people in. It's not going to fuck it up. Please come into the Patreon. We have a lot of, or into the Discord. We have a lot of fun there. Other than that, thank you everybody, and we will talk to you next week.